Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. There was a video posted yesterday, I assume somewhere there in North Dakota, possibly, going towards Minot, North Dakota, where we have our military base and nuclear silos, of a large convoy of a payload transporter 3. What it does is provide the ability to load, unload, transfer, in place, remove, or replace Minuteman weapons system. This carries strictly the nuclear weapon itself, not the whole missile, just the warhead. These are screen captures that I took from the video. Now this would have the warhead inside. They were really making a show of this transport of the nuclear warhead. You can see here in this image. This is the only one that I saw that had a man with a machine gun turret. Let me bring this over. Sitting up on top of the Humvee. Now, Russia and China has been modernizing their nuclear arsenal for years, but much of the U.S. nuclear stockpile is decades old. There was even a gunship flying over the intersection and following along the caravan of the missile. Well, evidently the government is now ramping up efforts to replace or rebuild thousands of nuclear warheads and missiles, bombers and subs that carry them. I found an article that was dated March of this year, and it talks about a factory in Kansas City, Missouri, that makes the parts for the nuclear warheads. As of March, 1,600 people had been hired, and they were hoping to hire triple that number. Yeah, there seems to be a rush. They want to hire at least 7,000 people to help build the parts for the nuclear weapons. I don't think we have to ask why there is a rush to replace its aging supply of intercontinental ballistic missiles, or even stealth bombers and nuclear submarines. They're expecting to spend over $1 trillion. The Los Alamos factory in New Mexico recently went online and started producing what they call the pits. Those are the grapefruit size core for a nuclear weapon. And in South Carolina, Savannah Riverside, they have been told that they have to have at least 80 cores each by 2030. The Los Alamos plant, evidently they stopped producing the pits, as they call them, back in 2012, and now they're going to be bringing in new equipment and continue to be making, or restarting, I guess you could say, making the pits with the older equipment. And they're hoping as the new equipment comes in, they can ramp up how many of these grapefruit sized pits that they're going to be making. I don't know if Los Alamos is going to be able to produce 30 pits per year, because even when they were still open before they closed down, they only made about 10 of them every year. The Biden administration has pumped $4.6 billion into Los Alamos this year alone, with a 130% budget increase over what the lab received just 5 years ago. There is a coast-to-coast recruiting effort going on to increase the lab's workforce, which is already at a record 17,273 people. One of the few good things I can say about Ronald Reagan is that during his presidency, he encouraged Russia they came into an agreement to reduce the world's nuclear stockpile. But I believe it was called START. That is no longer in effect. The U.S. and Russia have both dropped out of that. Now, after 30 years, the U.S., they say, is getting back into the game and ramping things up. Tell me we shouldn't keep on prepping. The last remaining nuclear arms treaty, known as the New START, is set to expire in 2026. Many critics are saying that the U.S. is repeating the mistakes of the Cold War by funneling billions of taxpayer dollars into weapons that hopefully will never be used and haven't been tested in more than a generation. How many of you remember when Hillary Clinton sold one of our largest uranium plants, or where they extract the uranium to Russia? Weapons-grade plutonium has a radioactive half-life of 24,000 years. They say there's virtually no safe level of human exposure to plutonium if it's inhaled. Even the smallest speck, 1/1000th of a gram, hidden to the human eye, could kill. And to make it even more dangerous, the U.S. no longer manufactures new plutonium. So workers there at Los Alamos have to take old pits from retired warheads sent from the Pantex plant in the Texas Panhandle, which assembles and disassembles and stores parts for the American nuclear arsenal. The pits are recycled through a process that purifies them of radioactive elements, which accumulates over time. To do this, plutonium winds up its way from what they call a glove box through an overhead trolley system snaking through the complex. The plutonium is melted, machined into shape, and welded. The workers, evidently, who do this type of work, must undergo routine mental and physical health checks throughout the year to ensure they can handle weapons components. Then, evidently, there's only 10 people that can perform the final step of assembly, which involves welding pieces of cast plutonium together to form a pit. And this is all done by hand. After the pit is made, it is then shipped back to Texas, and there it stays until it's plugged in, as they call it, to a new warhead. The last time the U.S. government made pits on a mass scale was back in 1989 at the Rocky Flats site in Colorado. Production at the plant evidently made 1,000 pits per year, but it was shut down following a raid by the FBI and the Environmental Protection Agency that discovered serious environmental violations. There evidently was enough radiation waste on the premises to cover a football field to the depth of 20 feet. Some 62 pounds of plutonium were found caked inside the plant's air ducts. When you rush to build weapons of death and destruction, how many people end up dying just in the manufacturing of these weapons? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, keep prepping, be prepared. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.